So, at the end of the day, it's been amazing. It's been amazing, and thank you so much. Thanks for hanging in there for the last speaker. It's funny, I shortened my name for several reasons. One of them is because it's really long, and it's Yamborchich, and it's always really confusing, and I feel like it's actually a deterrent. So kind of to Veronica's point, I'm kind of editing my name in order to make it less weird, because I think it actually helps. So, and everything is Bojana Jam at. So there you go. So today I'm going to talk a little bit from experience. It's going to be informal. It's really rough, but I'm going to talk about kind of a little bit of diversity and in design and startups. I've been at Typeform for the last 3.5 years, and it's a very, I don't know how many people in here have been at a startup or worked at a startup for a while, so you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. It's crazy fun, it's crazy bad, it's crazy great, it's crazy, it's all around, just tons of stuff happening, lots of changes. And so I'll tell you a little bit about some of the changes that I've had. I'll start with a little bit broad philosophical. I'll go into a little bit more context, and then I'll talk about some of the things that I've tried regarding diversity on the team. But today, kind of thinking about what's the most helpful thing, I thought I could talk about some of the hiring do's and don'ts, or the experiences that I've had with hiring designers and building a design team in a startup. So hopefully that's interesting. And when I was thinking about this talk, two things came to mind, and these quotes come to mind for me all the time. It's my philosophical big umbrella that I like to make everything fall into. But wherever you go, there you are. There's no way to get away from yourself, and I think it's really important to be always thinking about what are your strengths, what do you deliver best, and what do you do that actually is natural to you. And whoever you are speaks so loudly that I can't hear what you're saying. So the words matter, but what really matters is where you're coming from. And I don't know, oh, this is what an eagle sounds like. The fierce, amazing eagle, bald eagle, this is their actual sound. Every other sound that you've ever heard of an eagle is actually a hawk. So, but we've had recent talks of diversity, and I think when I think as an industry, but also as a world, we're talking about these things because we're reflecting. We're reflecting on something that's not working. We're looking at a world around us and going, what happened? How do we get here? Why is it like this? And I think in our industry as well, it's also happening. I mean, I think we'd all agree that who we are as an industry isn't reflective of the world that we have around us. And so when I think about diversity, these are some of the words that come to mind. Maybe there's a lot more, and there's, I'm sure, something missing. But these are the words that I started thinking about when I started working at Typeform, because we have a product that services everybody. So as I found myself at the company, suddenly I became a manager. And if anybody's been at a startup, you know how this works. You happen to be the only person in the room that is maybe sort of kind of qualified to do the job. So they're like, yes, you do that. So that's how it happened. And I started hiring designers. And 2 years ago, I turned into a design lead, and then all kinds of leadership roles. I've probably done everything in between, the design manager and design director, a little bit all over the map. So, but there's also a disclaimer. These things that I tried, I just kind of tried to figure them out as I went. I don't have the answers. I'm just going to tell you some stories about what happened, or maybe some highlights of stories. So going back to the diversity list, there were 4 words that stood out to me there. And these are the ones that I felt like I could really make a difference in the current environment that I was in. So starting with gender, strengths, cultural background, and skills. If I could somehow hire designers that were from these various, or at least varied in this way, maybe that could be helpful. And so what's the benefit of doing this? Why would you hire a diverse team? Well, for me, this is how I thought about it. So if we have complementary skills and strengths, we have better design outcomes maybe. Maybe that would encourage people working together more and sitting down and learning from each other. And that would strengthen the team as a whole. We'd have a variety of perspectives, and again, resilience. Well, not yet again, but the second one has the same thing. So cultural and gender diversity would also bring us into more balance with our customer base. We could have maybe better design outcomes. Again, we would be stronger as a team, and we would be more resilient. Well, why resilient? Well, because startups are hard. Things are changing all the time. And one of the things that would make a difference that I think the most is this kind of resilient mindset. Who can go into a storm and come out somehow on the other side intact? So how do we do this? One of the things that I thought about and that I tried really hard was to have a diversity at the top of the funnel. So if we're going to have a design team that's diverse, we have to start at the top and get as many diverse candidates into the funnel as possible. And aim for the stars, because it's hard. The reason things are homogenous is because that's easy. That's the most natural or thing that you're used to doing the most, so it comes easy. So when hiring for diversity, I think it's really important, and what I found is that just expect the work to happen, expect it to be hard. You're going to front load the work, and then the benefits are going to come in the end. Bias is forever. It never changes. You're always going to be biased. So it's a constant effort to be aware and to be planning for it and looking out and changing it, hopefully. And also at startups, expect opposing forces. So you are in an environment where things have to happen really fast. You're scaling, you're changing from 30 people to 200 people. But diversity takes more effort and more time, and so, but you still have to hire fast. So those are the kind of opposing forces that are naturally going to be there. And the only thing that I found that actually helped, more effort, hard work. Constant change versus efficiency. So you're expected to scale really quickly and to make as much money as possible in a short amount of time. Scale, what I mean is hiring more people. And things are changing constantly. 3 months ago, we're a different company than we are today. And in 3 months, we're going to be a different company than we were. It's really tough. So, and there's this kind of concept of flat hierarchy and moving fast. So flat hierarchy meaning, oh, well, we don't have big titles, there's no middle management, it sounds like utopia. Well, not really. When you're at 30 people, it can work, but when you're at 200, it's a whole lot different. So these are the kind of forces we've had to navigate. We have cross-functional orgs, so agile is huge, right? We had our agile coaches, we have a cross-functional team, and what I found is that what really makes a big difference is to have baseline rules, and rules don't sound like fun. But what's really not fun is when the team doesn't work, and without a common agreement. Imagine a soccer game with no rules. That wouldn't work with me. So, and then one thing that was really important is to find the right skills for the right roles. So what we had is a variety of designers. Somebody came from service design. Somebody has a stronger background in research. Somebody has a much stronger front-end visual design skills, maybe animation. And so kind of having a variety of designers to choose from, and then putting those designers on the relevant teams that have the need for those skills the most. And I think it worked out okay. There are places where there should be no diversity. And so what I mean by that, if your organization is cross-functional, if you're agile, if you are growing really quickly, and if you have intense pressure to deliver, these are the areas that I found have to be aligned. The team has to be collaborative. The people have to be communicative, and proactivity is absolutely essential. And this is where that quote comes back. Who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. Or wherever you go, there you are. I think that to some degree, we are who we are. We have certain strengths by the time we get to a certain age, level of maturity, whatever you want to call it. And it's really important to recognize that. Some people just don't work well in teams. It's not going to work. in a fast-moving agile environment. If a person isn't necessarily communicative, it's just not their nature to go out and talk to that person and to reach out, it's not going to work out. And proactivity is one of those things that can be built, but I think that's the kind of action-oriented mindset that's absolutely necessary. And these are the kind of also, you know, this is the other side. These things have to be aligned across the entire team. So the last kind of topic is kind of this value alignment on the product organization. So within product, you have engineering, design, and product management. And all three, I found, is really helpful if all three are valued equally. What does that mean? That means at the end of the day, pay equity. So if the salary bands for designers and engineers and product managers are different, the organization is going to think about those orgs in a different way. They're not going to value one as much as the other. So we work together with the leadership team. In fact, this was our Chief Design Officer, Chris Linnett, that led this the most, to make sure that we are all paid equally. And is that it? No, I have no idea. There's more stuff. And these are some of the things I discovered, and I hope that at the end of the day, there's some ingredients here that you can take with you. Maybe you can try them. I'm sure there's all kinds of approaches, and I think that every situation is a little bit different. And so take it with a grain of salt, and I hope that was useful.